All right, so the original question I decided to do was section 5.1, number 5, and these are just composite functions. So we've got f of x is equal to 4x plus 5, and g of x is equal to the square root of x. I had a couple issues with the end questions, but I was doing pretty good here for a little while, so we'll go over that first. So g of f of 0, so we go f of 0 first, so we just input 0, where the x is, in the f function, so 4 times 0 plus 5, that's just 5, and then you take that value and place it into the g of x function, so the 5 is the x value in this function, right? So then you just have the square root, right? Because g of x is the square root of x. So square root of 5, and that is just your answer. For me, it's kind of hard to tell exactly when you're supposed to stop evaluating the function, but here I was like, well, that's just going to be it. And that actually wound up being correct. So then we have f of g of -1, so you input -1 in the g function first. We wind up with the square root of -1, which is an imaginary number. I worked it out anyways, I put it in here, and wound up with 4i plus 5. And then I made that my answer, but it's just not a real value. And then we have f of 2, and so you input 2 into the x spot, wind up with 13 here, and you put that into your f function again, and then wind up with 57. And I thought that was wrong for a while just because it was a big number, and I was like, oh, well, all of our numbers are really small. But that is the correct one. I looked it up. And then we have g of f of -3, so you're just inputting -3 into the f function first, and then you wind up there with -7, and g of -7 is square root. Oh, sorry everyone. Anyways, another not real value. And here's where I get a little bit tripped up, because we have f of g of 1/2, and so first you do the g function, which winds up being the square root of 1/2. Anyways, and so you put that into the f function, and I wound up just being like, okay, this is the value. But the actual answer, when I looked in the answer key, is the square root of 7/2. So I'm not really exactly sure how to get there. If any of y'all have a good tip on that. And then also same thing with the f of -2. I wound up just getting -7. So when I looked and saw that the answer in the answer key is the square root of 3 minus the square root of 5 under another square root, that kind of threw me for a loop, and I can't really figure out how that was supposed to be the answer. So I wound up with, when I put -2 into the f function, I wound up with -3, and I put that in again, and I just wound up with -7. So if y'all can help a sister out, I have a hard time with this class in general, but I was feeling pretty good about how I was doing over here, and then I got here and I've been struggling. So thanks.